respected Professor Arvind Kumar, chairperson of this third session on Patel's legacy and lessons for modern security and foreign policy. My co-panelists, Colonel Ashish Joshi, Colonel Naveen Prabhu, an audience from yesterday whom we are countering and interacting, respected Dilip Moity sir, Professor D.K. Verma, Professor Monan Pillai, Pratik, all my research scholars. I got one message especially for Dilip Moity sir from Professor Sheshadri Chari, and he said that kindly convey this message when you are going to say something about national security and foreign policy. I said, let me share my view, and then what he conveyed the message, later on I'll come to that. I yesterday tried to set the tone when we talked about Patel's vision on nation building or national unity and integrity. At the same time, most of the new generation is not aware what is the princely state, how much they had income source, what was the social structure in that time. Then I will cover what is his thought on modern security and particular in foreign policy. Let me share a few things about princely states, and then you will realize how princely state integration has happened. You all aware that there are the different figures. Some of them are saying 565, some of them talking about 567, whatever it may be, but you will surprise the princely state in a British India, they constituted about 28 to 30% of population. So one hand, it was a British India, controlled by British, and there is a princely state, they control the population around 28 to 30%, where we had that time population in 330 to 350 million, means 35 crore population. Out of that, the 28 to 30% population controlled by the princely states. And highest population in four important princely states. One is Hyderabad, that is a 16 million, means 1 crore 60 lakh. Mysore, 8 million. Jammu and Kashmir, 4 million. Baroda, 3 million. And rest of the princely state, their income was not more than 10,000 rupees, 10,000 per year. So that was the situation when you're talking of the integration of princely states. And we were, if you look at the three major princely states where we had a problem, one is in Junagadh, where population was the Muslim, majority of population was the Hindu, ruled by Muslim. Hyderabad and the Kashmir. So these are the three princely states where majority versus minority was the key strategic issue, and that is a result of threat to national security. I'll come later on. But this is the background. Then income, look at their income side of the princely state. Total estimated annual revenue in 1947, total, I'm talking about all 567 princely states, is not more than 900 crore rupees. And there was an economic disparity. During that time, Hyderabad was the richest, around 25 to 30 crore population, crore rupees earning. Mysore, 12 crore. Travancore, Baroda and Gwalior were also economically strong, and many minor states had annual revenue of less than 1 lakh rupees. Then the economic disparity that time, most of state had agrarian economy, but some princely state, particularly Mysore and Hyderabad, had industrialization and modern banking system. The princely states collection, its total territory is one third of that time in its population and one third of the territory. So this was the situation, and if you link with that, when you talked about the legacy of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, now then you will realize what was the role he has played. I said there were only 3 princely states where we had a problem. One is in Junagadh, second is in Kashmir, and third is in Hyderabad. If you look at the action against Hyderabad, that call as Operation Polo, but Patel's most enduring contribution was the peaceful, and whenever it is needed, it is occasionally coercive integration of all princely states. He made it. His action prevented potential intervention by foreign countries, while one hand we were started the integration. That time he started how to prevent external actors when in the process of integration, and he made it very critically as well as a very systematical approach to tackle with the foreign powers. And his role in instrumentation is signing an instrumentation action in Kashmir. He handed Nehru should take care of international area as well diplomatically, and internationally issue handled by Nehru, and rest of the action he can discuss himself. So that was his strategy when he talked about his foreign policy. Initially, he was military. He tried to military response through different action, but then later on he thought that there is no need to have any kind of military action, particularly when we had Operation Polo in Hyderabad. And I said yesterday, when there was an interaction with Ambedkar and Patel, in fact, Ambedkar suggested him that no need to have any military action. It should be a police action. And he carried out that police action again in Hyderabad. His foreign policy outlook, particularly when you talked about Patel's foreign policy, he talks about realism versus over idealism. There are 3 important considerations during that time we can see. Nehru was very much interested towards non-alignment movement. Patel talks more about the pragmatic approach as well as the realistic approach, and Ambedkar talk about national interest. If you read Ambedkar stake on foreign policy when he was the member of Upper House, and he criticized heavily when we had a Panchashila agreement with China, and there was a slogan called Hindi Chini Bhai Bhai. And then he said in a parliament, anyone not should, or particular government should not glorify its own stature. The person should not glorify their own stature. Ultimately, what is important is the national interest. And that was a statement is available. In fact, if we read his all literature, you will surprise how he critically against the Nehruji. But at the same time, when it comes to the national interest, all leaders come together and they had a consensus when dealing with the national security as well as the foreign policy. So there are 3 perspectives, different perspectives, but at the cost of national interest, all 3 stalwarts, they came together in a time to time, and This is the first outlook of Patel's where he talks of realism or idealism. Then second point I would like to highlight in the context of uh, foreign policy. He talks about strategic geography, and Patel recognized that the geopolitical importance of frontier region is very important. Someone yesterday told about what was the stake of Patel on Northeast, and when he gone through that all, he he talked that particularly North states required long-term strategic depth as well as a Northeast strategic location in a such way. This is related to neighboring countries, and what it's required, it required a strategic depth. I said yesterday there was a crisis in Manipur, Arunachal Pradesh, and Nagaland, but Article 356 is one of the key instrument. That part is with integral part of India because that part controlled by central government through the Article 356, and at the same time Patel has approached to the strategic geography is very important, and geographical frontiers need to protect, and Northeast need to have a long-term strategic depth. Then what was the stake of Patel on foreign policy particularly? He said there's a strong border. We had a 62 war, 65, 71, 47, 48, and even before 1200, all attack comes from Khyber Khind. And look at the strategic importance. In fact, the history, if you go into the history critically, you will realize that most of the attacks are come from external side because there are porous borders. And Patel said that you need to have a strong border and strong foreign policy. So if you want to protect a strong border, you need to have a strong foreign policy. But sorry to say that if you ask me what is the core value of India's foreign policy or what is the core value of India's national security, neither I will give a right answer, nor Professor Dilip Mohit is going to give a right answer, nor Professor Arvind Kumar will give a right answer how to conceptualize national security and foreign policy. For example, if you are defining the national security, the security concept itself varies from country to country. For Pakistan, what is the core value of their security? Any threat to their religion, Pakistan treating as a threat to national security. For US, any threat to their trade, they don't have any neighbor threat, but any threat to their neighbor trade, they are treating as a threat to national security. And for India, so far from last 75 years, successful implementing the democracy, we are in a constitution, Article 1st itself says that protect India's unity and integrity. And we are calling any threat to India's core values, that is the sovereignty, law and order, external aggression, that is threat to national security. So here, when you talked about national security or when you talked about foreign policy, it would be very difficult to come to the conclusion what would be defined foreign policy. And that is the reason even today, look at the last 75 years, not in present government, before that and even present government, whatever prime minister, whatever foreign minister gives the message, that become a part of foreign policy. We don't have any strategic paper with us where we can frame or we can teach to the student these are the guidelines to achieve our national interests. Although we are also getting a literature, applying Western literature, C plus C plus A into S into W, that is a critical mass, then into strategic will, military capability, economic capability. So that kind of formula we are using to achieve a national interest. But what important message was given by Patel is that he said that you need a strong border and strong foreign policy. And how to define strong foreign policy is very difficult. Now, lastly, I'm not giving too much time, but what I would like to inform here, yesterday I came up to the integration of the princely state and constitution, how it play important role by founding fathers. There was a discussion yesterday that Chari sir said the tone. What he said, you need a dharma, or you need a, he has not defined what is dharma, but in all Western countries, you know, they had different practices. Even they are implementing dharma, they were not united. When Westphalia Treaty came and the concept of nation state emerged, then state and nation state got guidelines, and then the democratic country used the constitution to implement and to protect unity and integrity. So country like India, what we need to protect our constitution. We need to protect our core values of in a constitution, and we need to recognize how pain our four founding fathers made it for to preparing the constitution and giving independence to our generation. And that's why when you are talking about uh, the contribution of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, you need to understand this all important aspect. In fact,